What do you mean by that? Hi, I'm Jared.
And I'm Genna-Leigh, and this is...
What do you mean by that? And it is a podcast about two performers that just happen to be married.
Just so happened to be.
Just so happened. So this is our first episode, and we're super excited to talk about some topics, maybe have some guest stars on some of these later on, and just talk about the industry, how it's changed for the better, how it's changed for the worse, how survival jobs work, everything. We'll get into the nitty-gritty in these next couple of episodes that we'll make. But I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We have a lot to discuss.
Absolutely. Well, the first thing we wanted to discuss is to have a little fun. We love like casting, miscasting, celebrity casting, musicals. So we thought we would dive right in with a little fun question for you guys, and we have some examples for ourselves, is if you could pick one of your favorite musicals and star it at a different time, like open it in a different time period, who would be in it? What time period would it be? I'm going to start us off with the last 5 years. I absolutely love the last 5 years. Personally, right now, my favorite Jamie, whoever played Jamie ever, was Zach Resnick. He was incredible. But if I could cast it with like a star-studded cast movie back in the day, I'm going to go with the 60s, early 70s, all right? And my two casting options, hear me out now. Hear me out on this, all right? My two casting options, so Jamie would be Elvis Presley.
Interesting.
Absolutely. And then Kathy would be Dolly Parton.
Okay.
I mean, think about this. Who wouldn't watch it, first of all? As I like to always say, it's called entertainment for a reason, right? And can you think about Elvis Presley's version of If I Didn't Believe in You? Oh, it would be bluesy.
I low-key want to hear it.
So great.
Can we do like a AI cover Elvis singing?
That would be great. And think about Dolly Parton's Summer in Ohio. Oh, my goodness. Oh, it would be so great. Still Hurting, man, she would kill that.
She
Absolutely.
would.
What is yours?
So I was thinking about 9 to 5 the other day.
Ooh.
And I'm not going to lie and take ownership for all of this, because I did see a post that made me think about it online. But it was if 9 to 5 came out, if they did a remake, the post cast Ariana Grande, Zendaya, and Sydney Sweeney. Now, I don't fully agree with that casting, so I'm going to take it and run with it a little bit. I think Dolly's character, Doralee, would be Sabrina Carpenter.
Ooh.
I think she would be a really good pick if that came out today. I think Judy, I would honestly leave Ariana Grande as Judy.
Okay.
And then for Violet, I think Zendaya would be good at it, but I don't know. I think we might need someone with a little bit more maturity. So what if we brought in Amy Adams?
Oh, man, goodness
think?
gracious. That would be awesome.
It's a bit of a big age gap, some of it, but I think that brings an interesting dynamic. And honestly, that's kind of how Violet is. She's dealing with some different elements that the other two ladies are not quite dealing with in that show. And that's the beauty of 9 to 5, is 3 women dealing with their own separate struggles all coming together.
Yeah, and Doralee does seem to be like the youngest out of the bunch. So it brings in that. And plus, I mean, Sabrina Carpenter is so trending right now.
So big. It would instantly be successful.
Yeah. So you're saying if 9 to 5 came out in the year 2025?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
I think Sabrina Carpenter would be hilarious in Doralee's scenes.
That would be pretty awesome. What do you guys think? You should definitely leave a comment below of a musical you like, what era it should be in, and who would be cast. I mean, we really love reading these, and I'm sure we'll bring this back sometime because we make little casts out of our friends, out of our families, out of literally everything.
We've always done this. If you need a way to pass the time, genuinely just pick a musical and cast it with your own people. It's the best time ever. We thought it'd be a little bit fun to ask each other some questions and share each other's experience. So, Jared, you've been busy working this year, doing a few different projects here and there, and you recently were cast in your first feature film. Can you talk about what that experience was like as far as just being in a movie for the first time? How is that different than being on stage?
So, very, very different. And it was such a cool experience. So we shot a proof of concept, and we shot it in Virginia, and it's for a new faith-based film that is looking for, like, we submitted to Angel Studios, and we're doing funding with it. It was a lot of fun. So basically, I drove up there. I got put in this really nice bed and breakfast I absolutely loved. And being on set is so vastly different than rehearsals, because you were there, you already had your script for a while at that point. You kind of learned it. Some changes were made. Anything that was made changes, you either go over it with you, and then you introduce yourself to the person you're going to be acting with, and then you just do it. Like, you just do it, and then after that one scene is forever locked in that time zone, and then like you just move on to the next thing. So it was really cool. It was really refreshing. I was definitely nervous. Like, if I got to be honest, like I was definitely nervous to try something new, but I was very excited. It was a lot of fun to be up there.
I'm glad that was such a cool experience from you, and just getting to see you branch into that different world was really, really cool and exciting. If you could pick any one show to do every day for the rest of your life,
Oh my goodness.
which show would it be?
Oh my goodness, every day for the rest of my life. Now, is this a show that I've been in before, or is this just any show?
Any show, whether you've been in it or not.
Ooh. That's a tough one. I think
Asking the big questions.
the big questions. Honestly, I'm going to say Hunchback of Notre Dame. I have been in Hunchback of Notre Dame before. However, I think that there's so many moving parts, and so like there's so many people in it as well, with the choir, the live choir, and like so much ensemble, and there's so many like named roles as well, that I feel like there's so many things that even being on stage you can see would change and would be different. So I think that would pick Hunchback of Notre Dame. Plus the musical is beautiful. It's written by two of my favorite people, Alan Menken and Stephen Schwartz together. Oh my goodness. It was incredible. I think that would be it.
All right. So we were talking about dream casting earlier, and you have a few different actors that you're really big fans of. If you could choose one of those actors that you're really, really obsessed with and put them in any show that you've been before, in a role that you've played before, who would you replace yourself with?
Oh, I gotta go with it. I think Taron Egerton as Sam Wheat in Ghost the Musical.
Knew you were gonna
that would be
cast Sam.
incredible. That would be incredible. Taron Egerton would be great. And like, honestly, you know, out of it, I feel like Taron Egerton actually fits the body type a little bit more of like Patrick Swayze than I definitely did. But I think that would be a really cool one. I think that would be really cool.
Cool. Okay, and I'm going to go back to projects you've been working on recently. You recently premiered a world musical in Nashville, and I'm sure we'll talk about that again in another podcast. But what was that experience like, as much as you can say about that?
Oh, it was great. I got to work with a lot of different music artists, and that was such a cool, like, different branch off from the usual in, like, theater. And I got to work with a lot of amazing people, a lot of actors, a lot of TV actors, just so many musicians, even all the people behind the scenes. They have like their own bands, and it was so cool to like share our social medias, our Spotify's and everything, and just get to know a little bit more about them. And that leads us to you, Jenna. So I got a couple questions here for you. I'm gonna start off with one that everyone always asks, but I find it very interesting, is what is the most favorite role that you've ever played?
Oh gosh. My favorite role I've ever played, I usually, when I answer this question, I go back to college, and I had a lot of fun playing both Little Red Riding Hood and Into the Woods, and Fairy May in the play called Curious Savage. Not as many know about that one, but that was honestly maybe the most fun I've ever had on stage. I just got to be silly and kind of let a side of myself that I hadn't let bleed into my acting show a lot. I think my favorite thing that I always tell people about that show is I was given one main direction from our director, and that was to let my feet touch the ground as little as possible and to climb on as much furniture as I could. And I really took that and ran with it, mostly on chairs.
That is awesome. And whenever it comes to like more character performing roles and such like that, I know that a lot of our friends also have done this, but working in princess companies, I know you worked in one. How was that?
I did. I worked in it for one summer, and it was really a lot of fun. I'm a big Disney fan, and I got to play both Rapunzel and Anna, or I guess be friends with both Rapunzel and Anna. But that was fun. It was a unique experience. Typically with princess parties, the princess and maybe an attendant goes to a little girl's birthday party and does makeover and story time, and they did do that, but they also, my company had a venue, and so all the kids would come to us, and we would host the party and just honestly just hang out with a bunch of kids who are excited to see their favorite princess. And to the kids, it was like a celebrity. It's picture the biggest celebrity that you're fans of, and they're suddenly real in your birthday party. It's like the coolest thing ever for a kid, and I had a lot of fun doing that.
Now, the two of us, I'm not the only one that's done on-screen stuff. You also were in a pilot for a sitcom.
I was. It was a couple years ago now, which is a little bit crazy, but the whole process of that was just the wildest experience. I got cast a couple of months before we actually shot, so I had quite a lot of time to kind of dwell on the character I was playing and the role, but it was kind of a New Girl meets Friends meets Brooklyn Nine-Nine? I just blanked on the name. Brooklyn Nine-Nine style sitcom. And it was called Home, and it was pitched to me that it was just about a group of friends who all decided that they wanted to hang out and live life together, all crammed into one apartment. And my character was kind of the outsider. She did not live in the apartment with all the group of friends, and she was the ex-fiance of the main character who randomly appeared and showed back up in his life, and they all had to deal with the awkwardness of that. But the actual experience of it, I showed up on set, I shot my few scenes that one day, and then I left. And that was my involvement with the entire project. I don't honestly really know what came of it after that. I know they were trying to sell it to Netflix, and as far as I know, it's not on Netflix, but honestly, we don't have Netflix, so there. I truly do not believe it's on Netflix, but wouldn't it be crazy if it's just out there and I have no idea, because I honestly probably wouldn't know.
I know. Someone's probably seen it multiple times.
Somebody has seen it. Some producer out there has seen it, but if they have, I certainly did not receive a paycheck for it.
It all comes with the territory. It all comes with the territory.
Does.
Well, piggybacking off that, what do you think your longest contract? You said it was really short in the sitcom. What do you think your longest contract ever has been?
My longest contract was 10 months long, and I played one character for that entire time. And it was a lot of fun, but by the end of it, I was definitely sad it was over, but excited to play another role again. It was my second contract at Dollywood. I was a character performer, and to hold character integrity, I can't say exactly what character I technically played, but if you look me up on social media, you will find it.
If you look at any of the little vouchers you can get at Walmart around here, you'll be able to see.
Pigeon Forge famous.
Pigeon Forge famous.
But I did that contract for 10 months, and let me just say 10 months in heels and wings is quite a journey.
That is the title of her autobiography, actually. And it'll be coming out, soon. Who knows?
Oh, yeah. Forward by Dolly Parton herself.
Now, how did you keep it fresh every day?
I constantly had to remind myself that although it was, quite a long process for me, every day I was going out and meeting somebody who had never met that character before, or who had met that character before and was excited to see them again. And I had to uphold a performance that had been, I think, 4 years old at that point. And so we had some guests that were returning who had been brought to meet this character as a baby and were being brought to meet this character again as, 4 years old at that point. And they had seen pictures of themselves meeting that character and were excited to see that character again. So I had kind of this legacy to uphold, just to keep that performance integrity, to be that person or that character that they wanted me to be. And so I kind of, with that memory and that knowledge, it kind of inspired me to keep it fresh every day and bring that new experience to guests, even though it might be guest number 999 of that one day.
But hey, I think that's really beautiful. I really like that. And you know me, if I'm ever doing a long contract, I go full goofball status at one more point to keep it interesting.
Definitely have that kind of crackhead energy streak, and that did come out. If you ask any of my team that I worked with, if there was somebody kind of bouncing off the walls doing something a little bit wild within the realms of the character. Luckily, I did play a goofy character, so I could get away with a lot. Let's just say landscaping there might not have been my best friend at all times. I did develop this game where I would just pick up a rock and carry it to a new part of the park. And we named all the rocks, but we definitely, I say we, it was 100% me having my handler pick up a rock and hand it to me, and then I would just carry a rock around Wildwood Grove. And it was I thought it was really funny.
Oh, and I'm sure more and more stories will come about our
I
joint
could talk
contracts
for a
at
whole hour
Dollywood.
about the shenanigans I got up to.
And I'm sure we'll get into those for sure.
Now we have some arts-related things coming up, some exciting things in the works and happening. We both have UPTAs, the Unified Professional Theater auditions, coming up soon that we're both attending for the first time in person. How do you feel about that?
I feel pretty good. I'm really excited. I think the last time I auditioned in person, like in front of anyone, especially a panel, was the beginning of 2023. So it's been a solid 2 years.
It's been a little while for me too. Like everything's just been self-tapes and virtual lately. That's kind of how the world is now, but I guess in-person auditions are coming back.
Yes, and we have auditioned for UPTAs before. We both were passed through. We also just attended virtually because we were actually on a plane to Hawaii last year. So
Yes.
yeah, definitely dropping our info over the Pacific was not something we thought we were going to be doing, but now we're going to be in person in Memphis, so I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And I personally love that we had the experience of doing it virtually and now doing it in person, because we can kind of see how beneficial both are and which one we prefer, because I definitely think going in person is an exciting opportunity to kind of make those connections right there face to face. But I mean, virtual did yield some results for us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to work with the theater in Clarksville, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of great people I met along there too. So virtual, for anyone who is attending virtual UPTAs, it does definitely get your name out there. So no worries there.
Companies will still watch your stuff.
Absolutely. And we are really excited to go in person to the theater in the square. We have some friends that also work there, so it's going to be awesome. Other things we have, there are arts related, is we're going to see Dancing with the Stars tour.
We're going to see the Dancing with the Stars. I think one of my proudest accomplishments is slowly converting you to a Dancing with the Stars fan.
Oh, gosh. See, she thinks that just because I know some of the dancers' names, all right, maybe most of the dancers' names, that I'm like a hardcore fan.
But you're selling yourself short.
Okay, I did get a little invested whenever it came to voting time. And did I vote?
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
You watched every single week with me that we could. Sometimes we watched it a few days late, but we watched.
I was just being supportive, though,
Yeah, you're a great husband.
But we are going to go see that. We're going to go see it in Spartanburg.
Yes. And Joey and Jenna are at our show that we're watching.
I know.
The winners.
That is really awesome. That's a really cool thing. And we'll go and see other art stuff throughout the year that we'll also keep you guys updated on, because we love going and supporting some of the theaters we've worked at before. We love going and seeing our friends over at Dollywood, at Roxy Regional. We love seeing all those people. So
yeah, we're even talking about working in seeing some performances or even visiting some of our performer friends along our way to UPTAs. We've got quite a little bit of a road trip, and so we've got some stops that we're toying with the idea of doing along the way.
Absolutely. And we also just want to talk about what we're up to right now. So while we are auditioning for a ton of things, we're also working social media platforms, we're emailing, we're in a lot of talks for some other things. And y'all guys know how this goes. There's a lot of emails, there's a lot of communication, and there's a lot of ruts as well with this career. And that's just like the truthfulness of it. We're very blessed to be working on things right now, but there's definitely a lot of times that, we send a ton of emails, ton of cold call emails, and some things just don't work out. So we would love to talk about kind of that side of the world as well.
Yeah, and we want to hear from you guys as well. I mean, if there's questions you have, if there's topics you want us to go over, if, recently we've been dealing with some new things that we haven't dealt with in the industry before. So we have plenty to talk about, but we want to make sure we're talking about things that you guys want to hear. So if there's something you want us to talk about, a question you have, you can find us on social media and, leave us a question, send us a DM. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Absolutely. And not only will this be put on YouTube, on Spotify, we'll also post things on our Instagram. They'll be at Jenna and Jared, or Jared and Jenna.
Jared and Jenna.
Jared and Jenna. Yes. And Jenna is spelled with a G, all right?
Genna.
Yes. And then my social media is just Jared Ivy on Instagram.
Yeah, and I'm also on Instagram. It's Genna-Leigh Ivy. So if you find Jared's, you can also find mine.
Absolutely, yeah. She got that Genna-Leigh spelling.
Oh
so.
my gosh.
So we really just wanted to make a little community of performers here that talk about the highs and the lows of this industry, because we absolutely love being here, but we absolutely know the struggles, and we really want to make this a safe space for everyone to talk about.
I want to be the person that I have looked for in the past, of someone that I could ask questions about or be like, what do I need to look for? Or how does this work? And I, by all means, do not know all the answers, but I can talk about it, and that hopefully will help someone out there. That's my goal.
Yeah, we're all in this together, as some musical theater people would say.
Yes. I hate that.
Well, we absolutely love all you guys out there, and we hope you tune in next week for another podcast.
Yep. See you then.